Okay, so we're learning Tanya now. Let's try to finish the Pedic today. We're going to skip the long Hagos, which are probably most of the rest of the chapter, and because it's really Kabbalistic, and let's stay focused. We're at the point where we're on page Nun Hey. Nun Hey, the top line, Avol B'Tfila. It's the third word from the end of the line, page Nun Hey. The Alter Rebbe basically teaches us here that the words of Torah and Tefillah are more vibrant with godliness. Although they're physical words, right? And look at the top of the line, the name Ma'achar shehakoil v'hadibur gashmi. That the sound, the voice, and the dibur are gashmi. They're physical. Vocal cords, sound effects, noises. Nevertheless, avol b'tfila b'kavona v'teira b'kavona l'shmo. Conversely, when you daven with kavana, intent, focus, and you learn Torah b'kavona l'shmo, for the sake of learning, not for the sake of the degree. Harei hakavana mislabeshes ba'osis hadibur. The purpose and focus invests itself in the words. And I'm going to explain this in a moment. Hoil, since what animates the words, the kavanah, shemachmasa uvesibasa. And because of that, because of the kavanah, humedaber oisis elu. You know, there is lip service, and then there is real service. Lip service is just saying what you need to say, politically correct. It sounds good. That's what you're supposed to say. That's not kavanah. That's fake. And there are times you have to be fake. Yes, Moshe.
So, when the Alter Rebbe writes Ma'achar shehakol v'hadibur, what's the difference between shehakol, akol, kol, and dibur?
Dibur are the actual words. Kol is the sound. O, E, A, that's kol. The way the sound articulates itself is specifically through dibur. So going back to what I was saying, there's fake words, but they're words. Thank you. Someone says here, Moshe, how you feeling? You could be feeling not good that day, and you want to just be polite, and you don't want to get into a long conversation. You say, fine, Baruch Hashem. And really, it's not that way. So in other words, there is there is words that are animated with kavanah. Kavanah means, how do I really feel about it? Right? So the Alter Rebbe says here that when you daven, and when you say the words of Tefillah, Ashrei Yoshvei Veisecha Od Yalucha Sela, fortunate is the one who sits in the house of Hashem, and you think about it. I don't have to go now. I'm not going to work. I'm in the shul. I'm in my, I'm davening, and you feel good about that, and you have focus, intent. How is that seen in the words that are articulated? In other words, when I hear you say Ashrei, if you have good kavanah, I can hear the kavanah through your words. If you don't have kavanah, if we don't have kavanah, Avram, then I hear Ashrei, but it's like totally not animated. I think each of us should, in the morning when we go to shul, especially Shachris, you start Haidu, you start davening, and all of a sudden, tell me if you hear animation in people. Many times it's a cemetery. It's totally quiet. There could be 20, 30 people in shul. It's a cemetery. Now, even if it's not a cemetery and you do hear some words, do you hear an animation, a liveliness, a frustration, whatever? That's what we're talking about here. And the Balatanya says that when you learn Torah Lishma, learning, it is heard and felt that you're doing it because of Hashem, not because of a degree or business or fame or whatever else. And so too in davening. That's what he says here. This is, to me, this is so practical because Moshe, this is like every day we make this light chit-chat conversation, and there's time for that. But we need more of meaningful conversation, heartfelt words. And if you pay attention in shul to someone who davens that way, you'll be very inspired. You'll be just to listen. Listen. There were Hasidim, you should know, who would daven with tremendous kavanah, and then they would. The Hasidic Chabad davening is not just knowing the meaning of the words, but it's what we're discussing here as heard in the words. And especially if they chanted a little niggin or something like that in their davening, there would be Hasidim that would sneak to the back, to the right, and the left without the davener realizing, that people are listening to him and watching him. And why did they do that? Because they were inspired by the tefillah. The tefillah was animated. And what I'm saying is that you can have sometimes in shul someone who davens like that, more or less, and it can be very inspiring. And we ourselves should emulate that. So let's go back to the text. Lochein, hu maila oison. When you daven with this kavanah, you elevate it ad mekayma b'yitziras the yitzira yabriya to the right place, whether it be the 10 spheros of yitzira or the bria. Fi mashahi kavanah, based on your focus, b'tchilu u'rechimu, with awe and love, sichli, intellectual, generated intellectually, oitiviyim, or naturally, chuli, as we said earlier, canal. Sham, and in that plateau, God reveals himself there. It's the will of God. I want you to notice that he uses the word here, Chaim Zev, twice. Mislabeshes on the second line on Nun Hey, and again here, Melubish. What is this idea of clothing? I like the word investing. In other words, that this is an investment. Who is the good investor? The good investor is someone who understands the stock market, who understands the real estate market, who understands it. That's really the sharp, astute investor. Anyone can buy a stock, right? And either Hashem gives you the mazel and you make on it, or God forbid you lose in it. But an investor who is sharp is melubash. He's invested in it. He's part of it. So the Alter Rebbe uses the word say melubash. He says that the will of Hashem is melubash, is invested be'osius HaTorah, in the words of your Torah, shaloimed, that you study over kavanosa, and with your kavanah, betfilo, you daven of kavanosa, and its kavanah, or b'mitzvah, or when you do a mitzvah of kavanosa, ba'ara gadoila, God emanates those aspects of your life, tefillah, Torah, mitzvah, le'inketz adam fadayim, mashallah yuchol lahoyu lasgalis klau, be'oid ha'ishis va'mitzvah be'elam hazagashmi, le'imilov nimtzosa. In other words, there's no other opportunity, la yuchol lahoyu, in the physical world, as expressed through Torah, Tefillah, and mitzvah. Ades ketz. When will there be in the physical world, when you're playing golf and you're just walking down the street and you're doing your taxes, whatever else, when will be the time when there as well will be heard and felt the kavanah, that it's godliness? When Mashiach will come. At the end of days, you say the world will elevate itself from its material, and the glory of God will be revealed, etc. Canal Barichas, as we learned earlier in chapter 37, the 36, 37. Now remember, the Alter Rebbe already quoted a piece of Zohar that love and fear, and again, the chapter 39 is about the importance of having inspiration when you daven and you learn and do a mitzvah. And don't do it just by rote, okay? And that's called, what's inspiration? Ava and Yira. My father told me when I was a young boy, teenager, over and over, how his mashpia in yeshiva, Rabbi Chaim Kesselman, Olav Sholem, he was one of the most famous Chabad mashpiyim in the last century, first in Lud and then in Kfar Chabad. He came from Russia, etc. He learned in Lubavitch. So one of his main nekudot that he emphasized is the necessity of Ava and Yira in your tefillah, in your Torah, in your mitzvah, and particularly your tefillah. And he used, there's an English word for it, but I forget what the word is now. He used, is it necromony? He used this idea where he took 15, 16-year-old boys and he said, you know, the way you're davening is like the Vishnitzer Rebbe. The Vishnitzer Rebbe, the tzaddik. And he convinced the boys to daven with kavanah and to also subjugate themselves from taivas. It was an entire transformation process going on in Lud, in the Beis Medrash in the 1950s. And my father was there. And he changed these young boys who came from different homes, Holocaust homes, other homes, and he convinced them that their davening can be at the same level as, let's say, Rabbi Chaim Kanievsky. I'll give you an example. He used Hasidic Rebbes because my father and some friends were from Vishnitz. They wanted to go to Vishnitzer Rebbe, and he wanted them to be in Lubavitch, so he used Vishnitz. But regardless, this Gadol, this Rebbe, this rabbi. So the idea that he emphasized is Ava and Yira. Do you really love Hashem through your davening? Do you really have awe for Hashem? This chapter, Perek Mem, Lamed Tes and Mem, actually, these chapters are all about the kavanah, the importance of kavanah, and that kavanah makes, in the Lashon of the Zohar, your mitzvah soar, parcha. So let's see what he says now about that. The Zohar HaKadosh says that the two ideas of awe and love for Hashem are called wings. Gatfim are wings, like wings of a bird, derech moshel. As it says, uv'shtayim ye'ofev. It says, regarding the malachim, the angels, with two wings they fly, right? So there's a reference to, over there refers to the malachim, but the language employed by the prophet is ye'ofev, fly. Reb Chaim Vital Zal b'Shari Chud and Perek Yudalev. Shana knafayim, the wings, be'oif, the wings of a bird. Hein zroos, next page. Hein 110, top of the page. Hein zroos ha'adam are the arms of man. Now, in Kabbalah imagery, the hands, the arms, the right is chesed and the left is gvura. The right is Malach Michael and the left represents Malach Gavriel, right? Both, Michael is chesed, Gavriel is gvura, of kedusha, of holiness. So the imagery in the Zohar, Avram, is such that we employ this idea of wings, flying, birds flying through their wings. Uvetikunim, in the Zohar, Tikkun Zohar Pirush, Sha'oiskim b'Torah mitzvahs b'tchilu rechimu, those that study Torah and do mitzvahs with awe and love, that their mitzvah is animated with the love of God, and it's felt in the mitzvah, that they love God, and that's why they're doing the mitzvah. Nikroyim boinim, they're called children. Children love parents. Parents love children. V'im lav, and if they don't have that animation, nikroyim efroichim, they're called chicks. little chicks that can't fly yet. They don't have developed their wings. They cannot fly. And he explains, just like the wings of a bird are not the primary bird. A bird is a bird even without wings. The life of the bird is not dependent on its wings, klal at all, kedusnan, as it says in the Mishnah Chulin, as it says in Chulin, nitlu agafe, what if a bird's wings were removed? Ksheira, it's still kosher. Why is the bird kosher, Yoni? Doesn't have wings. What does that show? That a bird is a bird even without the wings, and if it's a kosher bird, it's kosher. What is the primary aspect of a bird? It's its head. And the rest of its body. And the wings are only an aid to the head. And its body helps the bird fly. Here ends the mashal. Now comes the nimshal, the moral. Kachal derech mashal, hatayro mitzvahs hein ikar hayichud elyon. Torah and mitzvahs, learning Torah, doing mitzvahs, this is the primary bond with God. Yichud elyon, ayidei gili rotzen elyon, by God revealing himself in Torah mitzvahs, hamazgala yadein, that's revealed through them, but through them. So the putting on tefillin, Moshe, with a Jew, with yourself, is the bottom line. Putting a mezuzah up. That's it. Lighting the menorah, now getting another yid to light the menorah, they have no idea. I'm walking down here. Yesterday I was turning into the parking lot to go to Mincha. A man's walking, stops. I roll my window and says, "Hi, do you need a menorah?" I assumed he's Jewish. I especially did that. And he says, "Oh, no, I'm not Jewish, but my girlfriend is." "Oh, okay. Why don't you, have her light the menorah?" "Oh, we have a menorah." I says, "It's very nice you have a menorah, but you have to light the menorah, make the blessings. Tonight's Hanukkah," right? He's not Jewish. He knows nothing. Probably she knows also very little. The bottom line is that the mitzvah is the ikar, right? Now, so where do love and awe, inspiration come into the picture? Says the Alter Rebbe, continue. The awe and the love, you know what they do? They take the mitzvah and they bring it to a place where there's the revelation, and I use the word inspiration, that comes along. In other words, when you do the mitzvah, when the person lights the menorah and has no idea, but the rabbi or the boyfriend tells, "I met this rabbi driving into the parking lot, and he told me it's Hanukkah, and therefore you're Jewish, light the menorah, make a blessing," and what blessing? Who? What? When? I'm going to do it. It's Hanukkah, right? Because that's the ikar, but it's missing the inspiration. It's missing the ava and the yira. So the Alter Rebbe says the importance of the ava and yira when doing a mitzvah is so that it goes to the right place, and in the right place there is inspiration. But even if that's not present, nevertheless the mitzvah was done. Let's continue. I want to continue and finish. So he says, so it takes it to the right place of Yitzira, V'hine, behold. After wait a minute, he says, why is love and fear, love and awe, and is within a mitzvah just considered inspiration? Chaim Zev, it's a mitzvah. It's part of the 613. Says the Alter Rebbe, Afal Pekei, nevertheless, Nikroim Gatfin. They're still called only wings. They're not the bird itself. It's not the head of the bird. It's just the wings. 2 wings. Ava and Yira. Liyos kitachlis ho'ava. Now this line is a fascinating line. Kitachlis ho'ava hi avoida mi'ava. You know what this translates to mean? In our vernacular in our world. Falling in love is falling out of love. If you're falling in love, if you're really in love with Hashem or with another person, etc., then show it. Tachlis ha'ava, remember these words. Ha'avoda the ava. Oh, I love God, and I'm inspired, and I have awe, really, but you want to do it your way. Hashem just put on a parrot film. No. I had the old-fashioned, primitive boxes and ideas. No. My idea of loving God is going to a mountaintop in New Mexico or in India somewhere, meditating, sitting on the floor, barefoot, with others, goyim, yidden, lahavdil, and all that, right? Sorry, chap, you want to do that on your vacation and you think that's a good vacation, go on vacation that way. But for you as a Jew, putting on a pair of tefillin in the morning or in the afternoon or towards the evening, that's the bottom line. Yes, Moshe?
That's like today's Tanya.
Yes, today's Tanya, yes. Very good. Oh, I was waiting for that. Exactly. This, I thought the same thing when I was preparing the shir. This is what it says in today's shir. Look at the words. Kitachlis ava, hi avoda mi ava. The ultimate of love is the avoda of love. And remember, this can be explained and it should be explained to our youngsters, children, grandchildren, friends, the youth, that I'm in love. If you're in love, show it. Don't show me how you're in love. And the same as with a spouse. You love your spouse, wonderful. To show it. Let's continue.
Actions speak louder than words, they say, right?
Yes. What about a lovey-dovey, the lovey-dovey feeling without service, without work? He ava, top of nun vav, b'tainugim. For someone who's on a high level, it's what we call a love of delights. Lisaneg al Hashem, to have this delight of God, mein elam haba, that we will experience in elam haba, the kabbalah schar, and we'll have the reward when Mashiach comes. V'yoyim la'soisim ksiv. U'lamachal kabbalas come. Today we have to work. Tomorrow when Mashiach comes, we'll receive reward. U'mi shalei gil emidazu. Someone who hasn't reached this level, which is most of us, only tzaddikim have that other level. Litay me'ein elam haba, to taste, have a taste similar to what we'll have in Olam Haba. One soul is still thirsty, still yearns, and is thirsty for God. The kol seil of kol hayoyim, and his entire day he goes around saying, I'm thirsty. You're thirsty all day. You're running around. You're hungry. You're thirsty. Well, you have that feeling. I didn't have a love feeling for God today and an awe feeling, and you walk around that way. Says the Alter Rebbe, look at this mashal. It's like someone standing at a river. And he says, Mayim, water, I'm thirsty. Lishtes to drink. And you're standing at the river, you lazy bum, but bend down and drink from the river. I'm thirsty. You're at the water. They say the ostrich has this long neck. This is by Fabrengas, the Mashpiyim and Yeshiva used to say that the eye has a long neck. It flies to the water. There's water, but it's lazy. It doesn't want to bend its neck, its long neck, to the water to drink. So it stands there and it doesn't drink any water because it's a lazy. Now, the Rebbe employs this idea, the same thing. Here, you're thirsty for God. You want to be inspired. It's right there. And he says, all of our Navi, as the Navi laments, the verse says, how thirsty, whoa, you're thirsty for water. Torah is your water. Drink Torah. It's right there. In the movement based on the simple text of the verse. It's not comprehensible. The mishut samei u'masava lilmaid pshita sheyilmed mi'atzmai v'lama le'lanav v'litzak olav. If you're thirsty And then what do you need the Navi? What do you need the prophet to tell you, drink from the water? The water is right there. So what's the Alter Rebbe say? And so why? So the answer is, what he's doing over here is like this. He's saying, because it's not so simple to be inspired, to love Hashem through a mitzvah, and to fear Hashem, and to have all for Hashem through a mitzvah, and when you Torah, is not simple. How many people learn and daven and are not inspired? And who says their inspiration is genuine? Their inspiration could be miscalculated, misguided for external reasons. So what we have here towards the end of this chapter is a very interesting discussion, and that is that don't make the mistake to think that that the primary thing is the kavanah. You see, this is what he's doing here. And this ends the 5-6 chapters from 35 through 40. We begin, if you remember, in chapter 36, the Alter Rebbe shared the medrash, right? Tanchuma, I believe, that the Sava Kodesh Baruch Hu, God has the spiritual lust and desire, to have a home, make a home from him here. And not a home like you want to make for him, a home that he wants. If the home is the type of home that you decide, then he's not in your home. He's not in your home. You're in your own home. It's your imagination and cognition and imagery of what God is, and therefore you set your home up based on that. No. If you want to really please Hashem, make a home for him. It's like you invite a guest, even a parent, right? 1 second, Moshe, right? You really want to do Hachnos Azarchim, make the type of situation where they feel comfortable, not you feel comfortable, and it's not easy. You know, we all live in a certain lifestyle and a certain behavior and this and that. Like I told you, you know, when you bring into your home people who are very different than the way we live, and you know, and they're demanding and more, that to make a place where they're comfortable is not an easy job. And so the Alter Rebbe says, but that's the Dina B'Tachtoinim, right? To make a home for ourselves, that's not where it's at. It's for Hashem. So you have to follow what Hashem wants. So the question now is, I make this home just by doing the mitzvah, by learning Torah, by davening, and what's with inspiration? How does inspiration, Ava and Yira, fall into the picture? That's the discussion of chapter 40. And what he's saying is that part of a bright home, a shiny home, an illuminated home, is that there's inspiration there. So the bottom line is the home, the bird, the head of the bird. The wings are add-ons and adjuncts, but they're important for a lit home, a bright home. So that's how you reconcile the two. So therefore, if you ask yourself a question, should I daven, should I learn, should I do a mitzvah even though I'm not inspired? The answer is absolutely yes. But nevertheless, as a Jew, as a Yid, and as an Oived Hashem, Kol Ava, shehi below Avodah, is lacking in the Ava. So you need the Avodah. You need, as Moshe said, the action. The action substantiates that you're inspired. But, say it differently, the action can be demonstrative of inspiration when it is an animated action. Yes, Moshe.
This comes back to the expression Anshe Maisa.
Yes.
Right? I mean, it's connected again.
Right. Because Anshe Maisa, on one hand, it means action orientation, but Anshe Maisa, I think this is what you're alluding to, it means not just a dry action, a boring action, an uninspired. Anshe Maisa, these are people that in their action, you saw inspiration, you saw life. You saw life. And you know, Chevra, we see this today in Eretz Yisrael down there with the soldiers and the whole situation, the Klal Yisrael. There's a lot of inspiration. There's a lot of inspiration because remember what we learned also in this chapter. If you don't love someone or something, or you don't fear them, then you're not attracted to move that way. And who is going to go to give their lives? My wife was telling me someone, and I'm sure you know this, who wrote that if it's a matter of he giving himself up versus freeing prisoners, this is what he said: don't free one prisoner from me. I'm ready to die for Am Yisrael. This is mamish, like Rabbi Akiva said with the Romans, I want to be Mekayim Mesiras Nefesh. It's modern day Mesiras Nefesh 2023. That's inspiration. That's inspiration. That's a person that you say, this man is living with Hashem. You know, this man, I mean, how can a father ready to give up his wife, his children, his community, his Am Yisrael? But he sees it, no, this is an integral part of Am Yisrael. And if the Ratzon Hashem is that I lose my life in battle, Rachman Litzlan Hoyelesiyah, Chas v'Sholom, so be it. These people and this attitude, to me, is the greatest. It's really, really bigger than anything else. Because, like Moshe said, this is action. This is bottom line. This isn't a joke. This is not a joke. This is not sitting in a yeshiva, in a kollel, in a beis medrash, chassid, litvak, svardik, rabbis, Yerushalayim. It's all very nice. Bnei Brak, it's all very nice. It sounds nice. But these are people that are having mesiras nefesh every moment for Klal Yisrael. The Alter Rebbe in this chapter speaks about the same idea, that when you daven, that's what should be felt. When you're davening, what you felt is that I'm in love with Hashem. I love you, Hashem, so much. I fear you so much. And therefore, whatever you want, I'm ready. Whatever it takes. And that's felt in your words. As you say, and as you daven, as you learn, one hears to themselves and others who listen. There's inspiration there. This person means it. This person means it. And therefore, to challenge, maybe they don't, maybe this, there are, like we've discussed, fake tears. Now you have to cry. Okay, I'm going to sit and make myself cry. That's baloney. We're not talking, that doesn't even, as we say in Hebrew, la'ole ashucha malachim, right? That doesn't even enter the domain of the discussion being a fake. And he wants to be a fake, God bless you, be a fake, What?
It's acting.
It's acting, exactly.
I was on a movie set once. I'll tell you, I was working on a movie set.
Yeah.
Big movie in Toronto. I was a piano player in this scene. And it was this woman, she was a famous actress, and she had to do this scene, and the director wanted it over and over again, for whatever reason. Every scene she did, it must have been 6 times, she cried every time. And it looked real, I mean, it was about her life, so
right.
It kind of was real. But
right.
It just reminded me of that.
Right.
It's really fake.
Right, it's really fake. They say the story of the chassid who, he was a survivor, and this and that, and he took off his beard, and, whatever, and he wore a short jacket, and he came to the Beis Yisrael, Yerushalayim, the Ger Rebbe, the old Ger Rebbe from the... And it was Purim, and everyone's going by to give the Rebbe Shalom Aleichem. It wasn't Purim, it was during the year, sorry. He puts on a shtreimel, maybe he grows a little bit. I don't, whatever. Yes, I think the spodik, he puts on the spodik, he goes by the Ger Rebbe says, Shalom Aleichem, happy Purim. I guess he detected in him that, you don't really believe in the spodik. First, come back to putting on tefillin every day, and then you put your spodik on. Although I must tell you, when I was in Marin County, a group of the chevra that brought me out there wanted me to be the rabbi there. They wore gartlach, and not everyone was yet Shomer Shabbos. So I was coming from 770, from Crown Heights, from the Babitcher and Shliach. I was saying, come on, guys, don't drive here on Shabbos before you put on a gartel. But I quickly realized that I should keep quiet and not say anything, because the way they bonded was was like what do they call that, a fraternity, a brotherhood, and they bonded through that gartel. That was something to them. They felt good about it. The fact that they didn't yet keep Shabbos, all of them, it did come, but in the beginning it's like, hey, Shabbos is Shabbos. A gartel is just a minig Hasidim, and all that. But there's something to be said about an initial stage of what Moshe has called acting. It's true, but we as resident Torah Yidden Hasidim and Ovdei Hashem, that's not an answer for us. For us, or for ourselves, we know better, So, but we have to understand that others aren't always on this level. So their entry to Hasidism, to Frumkeit, to Torah, and all that begins many times with the social aspect. But with a good teacher, a mashpia, a rav, a rabbi, a good chaver, good friend, they need to kind of, hey, that was the past. Now we're different. We're different. It's okay. It's okay to say that for 20 years I was this way. The next 20 years I was this way. And the third 20 years I'm this way. And the next 20 years I'll be this way. That's what growth is. Growth is realizing you were this way, then you left this plateau, and you really leave the plateau, and you forsake those ideologies and philosophies and lifestyle, and you go on to a higher, more refined and better situation, and you continue in this trajectory, as you develop life. And I think if we look at life as a wholesome picture, one large unit, then the growth will come. The growth will come. And you won't say, as some who have gone through and say, I'm a faker. I still like the rock and roll. I still like the treif. I still like the girls and on, the drugs and all that. Even if you do, who cares? Who cares? The bottom line is learn, daven, do a mitzvah, help another yid. And the more you immerse yourself in that with kavanah, you'll see. Like you guys asked me, what am I doing here before the shir started? What am I doing in Florida? Going here, there, it depends on your mindset. If your mindset is you came here for your grandkids and your family and to sing Adera Salolo and give out Hanukkah licht and play dreidel, that's it. If you came to explore, Florida, okay, then explore it. Do what you want. So it all depends on the kavanah. That's why kavanah, and Dr. Rebbe says, is such an integral part of the Jewish experience. And there's not enough, especially today. Everything is so quick. No one has a second to sit still. No one has a second to reflect. We're running, and there's more, and there's more, and there's more. Chevra, it's time to go. The children are really enjoying the shir. So, sei gesund. Love you all. Tomorrow we start chapter 41, one of the most important chapters in Tanya. And it will be a dandy experience to go through chapter 41. Have a great Hanukkah. Shalom. Freilich Hanukkah. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.